guys, how's it going? Welcome back to Fit Trends with Presley Christine. Hope everyone is staying safe out there, staying healthy, yada yada, wear your mask. We all know the Jews. So today is a very special episode for me because I have one of my very longtime friends, Miss Nova Jones. How are you today?
I'm good, thank you. How are you?
Doing pretty good. You know, life with newborn twins.
Sure is crazy, especially giving birth to them during quarantine. My goodness.
That was interesting. Like, it wasn't too bad. The only part that sucked was their father wasn't allowed in the OR. He was allowed in recovery and to stay with me during my recovery, but he wasn't allowed in the OR. So I had to go through the whole thing myself, like myself.
You had to deliver alone?
Yeah.
Oh
So
God.
I got lucky. I had a really nice anesthesiologist and she like stood behind me the whole time and like was just chatting to me.
Oh God. Oh, that sucks though. Man, that's what a trooper. You gave birth to twins alone. Like, yes.
It was interesting for sure.
I
But
bet.
you know, I was just thinking the other day, we've known each other for a long time, like sixth grade.
Yeah. Yeah. And I'm 27 now, so it's been
It's been a minute.
quick math. 16 years?
And it all started. I was actually thinking about it the other day. I was like, how did we meet? And it was PE class, and we had to pick a partner. And you were sitting next to me because we had our last names were close to each other. So I was just like, hey, you want to be my partner?
That is what happened. Oh, I forgot about that. Good. Oh my gosh, great memory. Yes.
And it was history after that.
It was, and then after, and we've kept in touch for so long. I mean, I feel like everyone sort of phased out, just because it's just the way it is. But we've kept in touch since then.
Yeah, there's certain people that I'm really close to, and you're definitely one of them. Like, I have a small circle. So
Oh, definitely, yeah, and it's nice. It's crazy to think about that it's been that long, though. It's so weird. The older you get, time is so much smaller than it really is. Like, what
yeah.
is 15 years?
And then I say that like 15 years. I'm like, ew, 15 years. It's
Yeah.
like I got the email yesterday for it's like a group invite for the 10-year high school reunion, and I was like, excuse me.
Right? It's like 10 years already. I haven't gotten that yet. I don't know that we're doing it. I think that it's probably going to get postponed, which I'm kind of okay with. I'm not ready.
Yeah, I was like, wait, what are you talking about? What do you mean 10 years?
I know, right?
So today I wanted to just go into because you are currently living my dream.
Oh my gosh, not yet. I'm working towards living your dream.
But you've been diving into the acting industry for like, God, what's the last 6 years?
Yeah, I knew I wanted to be an actor when I was 11 and I saw our school's drama team perform um at a talent show, and I remember thinking that's super cool. I want to do that. And so I've sort of been doing that in and out. I've tried to make theater a part of my life while in denial of wanting to pursue it. And then finally when I got to college, I decided I wanted to do it. So I got my BA in drama. After I got out, I started working with a studio. I took classes there. I did the whole thing, headshots, resume, building my reel, all that. So it's been a while. Yeah. It's been about, I mean, actively pursuing it, I would say 7 years of trying to accumulate a reel and trying to get myself out there, trying to get the reps and stuff.
I never realized until you started doing it. Cause like, I remember us in eighth grade drama class together, like doing these plays and stuff. And it was
Mm-hmm.
both a dream of ours, but I didn't realize like until you started actually pursuing it, like how much work went into it. And then my little sister is actually diving into it right now too. And she's been doing a lot of student films. I'm really proud of her.
Yeah.
And building a resume and stuff. And I didn't realize like everything that goes into that.
Oh, it's crazy. Oh yeah, it's a lot of building blocks, and it takes so long. I think a lot of people, they sort of think, oh, it's you just have to kind of be there and they'll find you and then you'll start booking things, but you have to really prove yourself. I mean, there's a very small majority of people who right off the bat get out of college and they find an agent and they're auditioning for stuff, or they know someone or their parent is somebody, but for everybody else, there are a lot of us who kind of have to start from scratch and build it, and it takes so long. And even when you have a rep, it's just nothing is stable. So you're always sort of starting at the beginning. Every time you level up, there's always something that you have to start at from the beginning to sort of build your way back up again. So it's an ongoing thing, and nothing is guaranteed. So that makes it even more difficult. But yeah, it's a lot. It's a lot. I know your sister Bailey, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, yeah, she's doing it. The student films and stuff. That's the way to do it because you need a reel. So she's doing it the right way.
So, like, when you go to these auditions and stuff, I was thinking about it the other day
Mm-hmm.
because do you think when it comes to, because obviously the podcast is about fitness and body image and standards and that kind of jazz, do you think there's, like, when you're walking into the audition, is there an unspoken standard that you're supposed to look a certain way, or what do you think?
I would say, I mean, yeah, I would say definitely. I think the biggest thing about the industry is type is so important. And I do think that your body is sort of a part of that. I mean, it's one of those things where I've personally never had anybody tell me, oh, well, you need to lose weight or you need to do, like, thankfully that hasn't been the case. But I would say every time I've stepped into an audition room, I think that every girl that's been in that room has been either my size or smaller than me, for sure. So I would say that there's definitely this sort of unspoken thing, especially when it comes to drama. I think when it comes to comedic stuff, things are a little bit different, and they're more accepting of different body sizes. But if you're looking to, get into a TV show that's dramatic or anything like that, there's definitely sort of a standard. Also, you could see it in the breakdown. Some breakdowns are so offensive where they say, like, looking for somebody that is this specific height, super gorgeous, has an ethereal look about them, and is skinny but curvy, and there are all of these crazy things, and you can tell really that whatever thing you're auditioning for, it's probably for the male gaze. The director's probably a guy, the writer is probably a guy. So I feel like they're the ones that are really setting that standard, but I feel like when it comes to female creators, you don't get that as much. But since the industry is very much run by men, that's kind of the standard right now. And I know people are trying to fight it, but I don't really think I've seen a massive change as far as body sizes for people that are auditioning for dramatic films and TV shows and whatnot.
Yeah, and I was literally gonna say that, but I was like, I hope this isn't mean to say, but it seems like the only, like, thick girls I've seen are in comedies. Like, it's the
Mm-hmm.
funny girls. You can get away with being thick if you're funny.
Exactly, because that's the but comedy too is if you're very talented, you're fine. But I think when it comes to dramatic stuff, even if you're super talented, if you don't have that look, it's kind of tough. But also that's and it's interesting because I feel like the biggest girl that you'll see in something dramatic is maybe a size 6 or an 8, but they're super fit. There's sort of that thing of, like, I don't know, that's sort of the tough thing about it.
The
Um,
thick fit or whatever, where they look thick,
exact,
but they're still, like, got a flat stomach.
exactly. Yeah, that sort of thing. But other than that, it's sort of a tough thing.
Yeah, because I was looking, because I was watching the newest Vampire Diaries spinoff, Legacies, and I actually really liked the girl who plays Hope, Danielle Rose Russell. I think she kind of has. She's not. I mean, I wouldn't even consider her really thick, but compared to, like, if you look at, like, Nina Dobrev, who is absolutely gorgeous, don't get me wrong, but very thin,
Yeah.
and that she actually has a little bit. Danielle has a little bit of meat to her, so I was like, oh, hey, we're breaking through here.
That's true. No, that's very, very true. And I thought about that too. And the thing is, she's been with the show since the originals.
Yeah.
And so a part of me is so happy about it because she's so talented and she's gorgeous and all of that. But then also part of me wonders if they did the casting for Hope in Legacies and she wasn't in the originals, I wonder if things would have been different or not because she was such a young child when she booked the originals. And I mean, obviously you're going to want to keep her for Legacies, but that I just the cynic in me is sort of wondering how would things have gone if they were casting for Hope during the originals and I mean during Legacies and not the originals. Would things have changed? Would they still have cast her? Would they cast somebody smaller? Like I can't help but wonder that.
The inner cynic is like,
Yeah.
if they knew she was going to grow up to be thick.
Because you don't know how, everyone's different. Puberty, everybody develops in different ways. You just don't know. And so I can't help but wonder. I mean, I'm glad she's Hope. She's an amazing Hope. I can't imagine anybody else playing that character. But, the industry is horrible about bodies. So I just can't help but wonder. But I don't know. I mean, and I feel like they're making strides, but in a way,
It's small
she's
strides.
yeah, because she's still small if you really think about it. I don't know. I don't think
Yeah, that's what I mean. Like, I wouldn't even consider her thick, but
mm-mm.
she's like
She's more
she has
developed.
more of a fuller figure to her than like Nina Dobrev or like some of the other past female characters in the show.
Exactly, exactly.
So I was wondering that because modeling industry always got like a really bad rap about how skinny their models are, but I think the entertainment industry has kind of been able to slide under the radar. Like, you don't hear about it as much with acting
Mm-mm.
because like models get blasted for being too thin, but you don't really hear it when it comes to acting. But if you're in the industry or people in the industry like you and I, then it's like you start to see it.
Oh
But
yeah, and
it's unspoken. Like, it's something that goes under the radar. Like, no one's like, okay, I need you to weigh exactly 120 pounds, but they're gonna say in the description, I need you to be beautiful and fit and da 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 da.
yes, and it's always fit. It's always they always they'll cover it up with super athletic. That's kind of the word that they'll use, or just someone with a very ethereal, delicate body. There's always these sort of hidden keywords that lets you know, oh, they want a specific size.
And God forbid, like, your boobs are too big or your boobs are too small or you don't
Exactly.
have the Kardashian ass.
Right. No, exactly, for sure. So that's sort of the tough thing for sure.
But I feel like, no offense to the Kardashians at all, but I feel like that's almost created such a body type that's just unrealistic. Like, there's very few people who are like J Lo, who are able to stay super fit and thin, but still have the curvy figure at the same time. Like,
I don't know how anybody can do that, because it's not like you can't spot reduce certain areas of your body when you're at the gym. You can't go, okay, well, I want a small waist, but everything else needs to stay exactly the same. I want my butt to be bigger. That's kind of tough. I feel like you kind of get what you get. So yeah, that's true. I mean, I feel like the body norms and the things that people are striving for nowadays, it's the most confusing thing in the world, because they want you to be small in certain areas but thicker in other areas, and but it's not completely balanced. I mean, you have to be very lucky to be born that way, where you lose weight and your ass stays the same and you get to keep your boobs. It just doesn't work like that for most people.
and that's what I mean. I'm like, I think about it and I'm like, it's just created such a weird body image, I think, for a lot of girls.
Oh yeah.
And that's where I think this all this body positivity movements have sprung up, is because stuff like that happens, like where you get this distorted view. And I've noticed it changes over time, because I remember, like, when we were kids, it was really really thin people were like in, and you'd look at people like Amy Winehouse, and that really twiggy thin figure was in. And so, like, when you weren't that, you felt gross or whatever. I remember because Paris Hilton was very in when we were like in middle school. I remember The
Oh
Simple Life and all that. But now it's like, this new era. Now it's, you got to be thin, but you also have to have an ass and you got to have tits. And it's so it evolves over time. So I'm like, is it going to go back to being thin, and then all these people with their fake asses are going to have to get them removed?
right, but it's also very scary, where it's like, well, you have to be thin, you have to be athletic, you have to work out. It's not enough that you just sort of, you can't just eat salad all day. You have to work out, because now they want you to have muscle, they want you to have abs, but you have to have a very small waist, you have to have very thin but toned arms, big ass, big boobs. It's like all of these certain, it's crazy, but that's true. It's always changing. That is so true.
And I didn't think about that when you said a male run industry, but it kind of is, because then you see stuff coming out like Harvey Weinstein stuff, and I'm like,
Exactly. Yeah, because I don't think, I just don't think that female creators really care as much They're more focused on the characters themselves and whatnot. I mean, if you watch, I don't know if you've ever seen Girls on HBO with Lena Dunham, but that was she was so big on body positivity and so big on showcasing that. And you know, there were a lot of nude scenes, and she wrote herself. She wrote it herself, and she was okay with that. But she was really trying to normalize that there are different body types, and that there isn't just one type of body, and that you can have curves and still be this very desirable type of person. I mean, there was a character in that show. Her name was, gosh, I can't even remember her name. I'm spacing. I think her name was Jenna. But it was played by this actress named Jemima Kirk, and she's definitely a more curvier type of woman. But she is everybody's favorite character because she's just so cool. She's so bohemian. She's so beautiful. And and the great thing about it is I don't think anybody really gives a damn about what her body looks like. She's so appealing. And this just happens to be a show where the writer is a woman. You know, I mean, it's directed by Judd Apatow, but it's written by a woman for women, and so really the dynamic kind of changes. But yeah, if you notice a lot of the shows where it's written by men or something like that, it's such a different thing because it's just they have an idea of what women are supposed to look like or what they want women to look like, and it's very unrealistic. And it's really funny too because a lot of these men that write it, it's not like they are the epitome of what women want either. So they're setting ridiculous standards, but they're not meeting a stereotypical standard themselves.
Right? Have you seen Harvey Weinstein? Like,
Exactly. Like, it's crazy.
but you know that brings up though the writer of Vampire Diaries is a lady. The creator. I can't think of her name off the top of my head for some reason. I'm blanking. It's a girl, because I remember seeing an interview with her where the actors were getting all mad because she wouldn't reveal what was happening in the show next.
Mm-hmm. I mean, I think that in that sense, though, I mean, you could open up the scope where it's not just about. I think, you know, it's possible to create something for the male gaze, but have it be created by a woman in a sense. I mean, I think she's sort of perpetuating the male gaze then in that sense, if you really think about it. I don't think it's intentional. I think that I don't think it's you know, I don't think she's trying to create unhealthy body standards or something like that. I think that it was a different time, and she was catering to this normalized sense of
This is just what's normal to cast.
exactly, this is what's normal, this is what viewers want because it's what TV has been telling us we've wanted for so long, which is women who are super thin and have perfect abs, men who are chiseled. I mean, it's kind of both ways too. I feel like there's a body standard for men too, especially on the CW. The body standards for men, if the guy has a six-pack pair of abs, he's either the super hot villain or the super hot lead. And if he has a normal body, then he's probably the guy creating all the tech to help the superhero.
Oh, I know. Like,
Mm-hmm.
there's certain networks with the CW especially, because I'm like, look at the way that they cast some of these shows. Like, how are you going to compare any man walking down the street to Ian Somerhalder? Like, really?
Exactly. And so they're like, this is what everybody looks like, but really that's not the case at all. And you know, the thing is as an actor, you get sucked into that. When I get an audition for something for the CW or for ABC, I'm flattered. You know, and I'm a part of the problem. I'm also the one that's sort of instigating it because when I see a breakdown and it's, oh, someone that's beautiful or has this body type, I'm like, oh, is this how you see me? This is so nice. Thank you. Instead of going, oh, wait, this is really messed up. This is not okay. So I'm guilty of it myself.
Yeah, you almost get sucked into the vortex, like the compliments and stuff until, you know, you get real famous and then everyone uses their computer to body shame you.
And body shaming is hard because you can't, and I think everybody does it. I mean, sometimes if I tape an audition, I'll zero in. If I have to do a full body slates are my nightmares because pretty soon I'm picking apart every part of my body. And honestly, it's fine. I look fine, but I can't help but worry about that. or I always make excuses about, oh, well, I need to work out and go to the gym because if they want me to have a specific body size, it'll be easier for me to adapt to it if I'm already working out. I mean, there are all these things where it's already mentally ingrained. And you don't know who's perpetuating it because other actors are doing it. I mean, go to a rehearsal, everyone's carrying around a salad and tofu or kale chips or something healthy. It's like the thing, and everyone jokes that it's the LA thing, but really everybody is doing it because they think they have to look a certain way. And I mean, if you notice on TV, which I mean, I know somebody called it out once, where if you look at the difference between an actor from season 1 and season 2, there's a vast difference because they always end up losing more weight in season 2, or, trying to create this image that's very much sort of like the Hollywood stereotype. Apparently Modern Family was big on that, where all of the actresses season by season were just dropping weight.
I noticed that a lot between if you like pilots and then like the second episode, they look like a completely different person. Like the hairstyle changes, they got more in shape.
Exactly. Everything changes. And it's always, oh, well, I feel so much better and I did it for health reasons. But really, I mean, maybe you did, but I think that mostly it's subconsciously because you're trying to fit a standard and people are watching you and you don't want to be judged for it. I think that's it too. There are a lot of really mean people online that are going to say things and pick apart your body, and you're human. So of course you're going to listen, and you're going to want to change yourself thinking that it's going to prevent people from saying something about you.
Yeah, it's crazy what it turns into, like when you go down the rabbit hole.
Oh, maddening. I know when I first had my showcase a few years ago, that was my thing where I spent a whole year in the gym because I knew that people were going to be viewing me. And and in doing that, if we all do that, if we're all trying to get our bodies to look a very specific way, then nothing really changes because all these casting directors, everyone's going to think, oh, well, we can find someone like that. It's fine. There are plenty of people that are willing to get in this type of shape to book this type of role. And that's not okay. And then, we're creating this false idea of what it is to be hot or beautiful or any of that, because it's silly. Everybody has different body types and they're all desirable. They really are. I mean, it just comes down to the fact that I think that sometimes people try to dress someone of a certain body type, in a way that's better suited for a different body type. So really it all just comes down to wardrobe. But if someone isn't dressing you to your body type, you're not going to look good, you're not going to feel amazing. And that's really what the problem is. The problem isn't your body, it's the person dressing your body.
Yeah, I've seen some really sexy big women, and I remember sometimes being jealous of like those big girls that would like just give off this confidence, and I'm like, how are they 100 pounds more than me and I don't have that kind of confidence? Like, give me some of that. Like, I
Yeah.
used to be so jealous of that. Like, and there was something so sexy about them thinking they were sexy.
Right. And really it's because, but it's also because they are sexy. It's just that Hollywood has sort of created this idea that they're not, but they really are. I mean, look at Christina Hendricks. My goodness. One of my friends is obsessed with her and loves her body and is always thinking, well, maybe if I eat this or I eat that, I'm going to look just like her. But really, that's just how her body is. She just has a beautiful, voluptuous body, and it is what it is, and that's it. But she dresses so beautifully for her body, and it's stunning. And that's what it is. I mean, look, someone could be a size 0, but if you dress them the wrong way, it's just not going to look good. It's just, and that's like the fact of the matter. It doesn't matter what your body size is. If we can't dress you right, it's not doing anybody any type of justice. And I think that the business and the industry is so used to dressing smaller women, they don't know how to dress women that are bigger, and that's not fair, because there are so many great pieces and so many great outfits that are going to better suit this woman who's much more curvy, and you're hiding her body by not doing that, by not thinking more about that.
And
Or
then,
even like lighting and cameras and all that stuff.
yeah.
There's such a great way. I feel like that's so precise that you really have to think about who you're lighting, who you're putting in front of the camera, and what you can do to make them look their absolute best, and not try to hide their body, but just accentuate it.
Yeah, lighting for sure. I didn't realize how big of a play lighting was until I had a friend of mine she bought one of those little circular lamps for taking pictures. And it gives off like this certain light that like makes your face look really nice for
Oh,
the Instagram.
oh yeah, those LEDs, those LEDs.
And I didn't notice until like I saw her pictures before the light and after the light. And I was like, oof, a light can make a lot of shape and a lot of different.
Oh, a huge difference. And also, if you notice with Instagram, I mean, a lot of those, what I really love about Instagram right now is a lot of girls are sort of showing people how they take their photos. So someone who looks like they have really chiseled abs, it's not that they do, they just sort of sucked in the right way and positioned their torsos the right way to create that illusion. And
High
that's really
waisted,
cool. Yeah.
those high waisted pants.
High-waisted pants, all that stuff. And that's kind of cool. It's like it all really comes down to posing and lighting and all of that, which I love is getting exposed more because I think it's so damaging for an actor or an actress to think that they have to look a certain way or diet a certain way. And people go to such extremes. I mean, I was like that when I was younger where I thought, "Oh, okay, well, I'm going to skip a meal and I'm not going to eat, and if I do eat, it's because I'm weak and I don't care about myself enough to try to look a certain way." I mean, it's the most damaging thing in the world is seeing a celebrity that you like, Googling their weight and thinking about how you can starve your way into looking just like them.
Oh yeah. I remember doing that a lot. I had a friend, a childhood friend, and she was more one of those, like, I guess you would call her a frenemy.
I feel like I know who you're talking about. Is this middle school?
Do you remember she lived right next door to me? Her
Okay,
name,
is she the one that, because you had one that was a model.
yeah, she was like the wannabe model that lived like right next door to me.
Yeah, and she had a bunch of clothes because of all the shoots she did, right?
Yeah, well, the reality was she only did a couple shoots, I found out, but
No way.
it was her mom's best friend owned the clothing line.
Oh, I always thought she got all those clothes because she was a model and she did all this stuff.
No,
Dang.
she only shot a couple of times, and that was because her mom's friend owned the line. But
Got it.
I thought the same thing as a kid. But dude, she was like, it was a friend of me. Like, she always wanted to hang out with me, and you know, we were close for a long time. But I started to realize how damaging she was because she was really, really thin, and she was one of those girls that would skip meals a lot because she was obsessed with Paris Hilton at the time.
Mm-hmm.
And this is during that Simple Life era. And so she tried to look like Paris. And anyone who's seen Paris Hilton knows that she has a very, very thin body type.
Yeah.
And I remember because I've always been on the curvier side, even when I was a kid. I remember being in sixth grade and all of my other friends were still in like kids' clothes and I was already in juniors. And I thought there was something wrong with that. Like, I had such a bad body image going through middle school. It wasn't until I got to high school and I moved out of Huntington Beach and into kind of the Inland Empire, and there was more body types out there compared to like Huntington Beach. It was a lot of really skinny girls, a lot of that beach body type. And then when I
That,
kind of got inland, I saw there was a lot more curvy girls out here, and I was like, oh, okay, so there's not something wrong with me.
that is so, no, it's true that location plays such a huge effect. Cause I remember moving to the Seattle, Washington area for college for a couple years. And it's so different there because everyone comes from different walks of life. Everyone's bodies are different. And I remember coming back for the summer and thinking, oh my gosh, like I'm back in Huntington Beach. Everyone looks exactly the same. Everybody is blonde, tan, very, very thin. And it didn't hit me before that, oh my gosh, this is like the epitome of where we live, living in SoCal. It's beauty is so singular here. And I think that's why people make fun of us. They call us like the Kale County. We're the ones with the gyms that are obsessed with that, obsessed with juicing and all that.
Gotta do the juice cleanse.
And I've done that. I did a juice cleanse once, and it's, oh God, it was the worst thing I ever did in my life. And I couldn't look at juice for a few months after that because it was just, oh gosh, you feel so weak. But I remember I was at my smallest when I did it and I felt amazing. And obviously, of course, you gain the weight back, but I will never do another cleanse again. But it's so damaging to not eat and to juice. I remember um I looked it up somewhere where I guess it's apparently if you do all of that and you don't eat like you're supposed to, it breaks down your collagen storage. So my thing is like, look, I would much rather gain the weight I'm supposed to gain than lose the collagen. I want to look young. I want to look young. I'll look young. I'll be curvy and I'll be happy. I don't want to make myself lose my collagen. I'm only in my 20s. It's not. So that's like it's damaging and unhealthy. And if you notice, a lot of people that do that when they get older, it shows on your skin.
Well, yeah, because you sucked everything out of it.
Yeah.
But there's ways to be healthy and do it the right way. And I mean, if you really want to like be healthy for the right reasons and work out to get in better shape and you're doing it because you just want to feel better, then there's nothing wrong with that. There's nothing wrong with wanting to be healthy and wanting to be happy. And if you're uncomfortable in the way that you look, then do something about it for sure.
Oh yeah.
It's I was talking with a friend. I was, because God, I can't talk today. This body positivity movement and all that. But I was thinking, could this also, if it flips too far to the other side, you got to be careful because there's always that thin line. Just like with being too skinny, and that's unhealthy. Being too thick is can be unhealthy too. Like, love yourself and be, when you're beautiful, but also remember that when you're carrying a certain amount of weight, there's health problems that can be associated with that. So you don't want to, like, accept obviously accept yourself. Every woman is beautiful, but there's that thin line between, like, being confident in yourself and, don't forget that you can't just eat McDonald's every day and call yourself beautiful and then you're gonna have a heart attack in 2 years.
Right. See, that's a tough one because I think that the too skinny thing was dangerous because girls were starving themselves so much that was unhealthy and they were dying. Because
Yeah,
anorexia, they were getting anorexic, and it was a thing where their bodies weren't functioning that they were supposed to. And I do think that if on the other side of things, that is true too. I definitely, but also I just think, I think that promoting a healthy lifestyle should be the thing. It shouldn't be promoting a specific body size because there are also women who are just naturally a lot bigger. It could be a thyroid thing, or it could just be that that's just the way your body is. I know that my mom had a friend who was definitely a much bigger woman. She was a plus size woman, but she ate so healthy. I mean, she ate healthier than me and my mom did combined. And she just didn't understand why her body was the way it was because she was always eating so well. So, I mean, I think that internally she was healthy. And her body was just a bit, her body was bigger, but she was doing all of the right things. So I feel like that's what I like about the body positivity movement is that, there are different types of healthy bodies. I think definitely for sure, don't eat McDonald's every single day and, like, give yourself a heart attack or clog your arteries or anything like that. But I don't know. I think it can be also very damaging to sort of look at a woman who's bigger and go like, oh, well, don't we can't promote this because we might be promoting unhealthy lifestyles because we don't know from looking at somebody what their lifestyle is like. There are women that are a size 2 or a size 4 who eat horribly, but nobody calls them out on that. They can kind of get away with it more, but a woman that's bigger, they don't get away with it more. And I think that's sort of the problem with having body standards, because I feel like there's a difference between having body standards and the idea of promoting a certain body or promoting health. And I think that everybody is so focused on promoting a body versus just promoting a healthy lifestyle and showing healthy women of different sizes.
I 100% agree. That is, like, pinpoint what I've always tried to get across. And the point of this podcast almost was just kind of to document, my own weight loss story and me trying to get in shape and feel better about myself. But the fact that, one of the things I love about Instagram lately is there's a lot of people with, like, their weight loss stories on there. And I love that it's realistic in showing how much hard work goes into it and that it's not an overnight thing. Like, this will be like 8 months, a year later that they finally lost, this 30, 40, 50 pounds. Like, there's no magic pill. And usually those magic pills are really unhealthy for you.
Oh yeah.
So it's like you want to do it the right way, and it's going to take time. It's not going to drop overnight. You got to be willing to put in the work. You can't just, hope to wake up skinny. You got to go exercise. You got to say no to the cookies. You say no to the pizza. Like, but also don't become so obsessed with it. I can't remember her name. I should have written it down. I saw this girl I follow her on my Instagram, and she actually came out. She was a, social media influencer, documented her weight loss. Well, behind the scenes, she had been battling anorexia, and she
Mhm.
actually came out with it and had to go to rehab and therapy and stuff for it, and ended up documenting that, like, where she had lost all the weight and now became so obsessed with the weight loss.
See, and that's what's scary too. Yeah, and that's the problem with trying to promote a specific body. That's why I always say, like, if you're going to work out and set a goal that's sort of realistic to what your body type is. I mean, really think about it, because everybody's body proportions are different, and you don't want to push yourself so much where you're pushing your body to look a way it's actually not supposed to, because it's not going to look good. You're not going to feel good, and yeah, you can take things too far. And that's so funny, because I remember, oh my goodness, I'm so bad with names myself. But I remember one of my favorite things to do is watch people's cheat days, because it's kind of intense. I mean, like, people that work out, their cheat days are insane. And I was watching this one woman who used to do that, because her cheat days were so huge. Her name was, I believe her name was Stephanie. I don't even remember what her name was. Oh my goodness. I think it's Stephanie Buttermore. I think that was the woman. Stephanie Buttermore. Yes, that's her on YouTube. She's very much known for having these epic cheat days where she'll just have like stack of pancakes. She'll order a dozen donuts. She'll get a double burger, large fries. She'll do the whole thing, and she'll eat very large proportions of food that's over 3,000 calories, and it's intense, and it's just really fun to watch, because I don't think I could stomach that much food. I mean, it's crazy, but she was just that hungry. And what ended up happening was, I think like a few years down the line, she sort of revealed to everybody that she just didn't, her workouts were just too obsessive, and that was the reason why she was hungry. She wasn't doing it really the right way that was good for her. She was pushing her body to the extreme, and so she actually ended up doing this thing where she started aiming to gain weight and sort of stepping back from the excessive workouts, because that was destroying her psyche. She was getting depressed. Her body was starving. And after she sort of gained the weight she needed to gain and started sort of leaning back from the excessive workouts, she started to feel better, and that all kind of went away. And so that's kind of the thing too, where it's like, promote the healthy lifestyles, but the people that get too fit, it's scary, because you don't know if your body is hungry or not, if you're not doing it the right way.
Yeah. So definitely an emphasis on promoting health and not body. Like,
Yeah.
because that's just.
And it's funny, because I feel like socially we're all kind of with it. I feel like I mean, at least I like to think so. I hope I'm not being too positive about this, but I feel like we're very much into different body sizes now. I just don't think that the industry is caught up to that. But I feel like we have.
I do too. Like, you got to give the Kardashians their credit in the fact that I started hearing a lot more about butts and boobs after Kim Kardashian came around.
That's true. Because then everyone started posting YouTube videos on how to grow their butts or grow your thighs. And that's cool that people want to grow their thighs.
Yeah, I remember I've always had big thighs. Even when I was at my skinniest, I had thick thighs. And it used to drive me nuts. I couldn't understand why everything else would go away except for my thighs. Like, I always had thicker thighs. And now I'm like, I don't even know why I cared so much. And then you look back and you're like, I wish I was as thin as I was when I thought I was fat the first time.
And isn't that what's scary? The body dysmorphia that we have because of
I'm so
what the
young.
media is trying to tell us to look like. But yeah, you look back and you realize, oh, I looked fine. I think that's a scary thing too, is that we think, oh, well, I could be smaller, I could be smaller. But what if you are small enough? I mean, I know you said that you've always had thick thighs, but what if you really didn't? Because I don't remember that.
I mean, to me, yeah, it could just be me. But like, I remember looking at pictures of myself, like, and I was thin, but like, I always had these bigger thighs. And they didn't look bad, but I remember always hating it.
That's just so sad to me, because I don't remember that.
Yeah.
So it's so interesting how the way we see ourselves is, we're so harsh on ourselves. There's a level of
Oh,
dysmorphia involved.
I'm my own worst critic a lot of the times. And that was one of the freeing things I think about the pregnancy was I actually didn't feel as bad as I was expecting to feel. I went into it because I had just started losing weight. I lost about 10 pounds. I had started this podcast. I was doing YouTube videos. I was like just starting to get into it. And I found out I was pregnant. And then they're like, oh, by the way, it's twins. So the average weight gain for twins is 50 pounds. And I was like, excuse me? So I went into it like, oh my God, I'm going to hate this. Like, I'm going to be so miserable. I'm going to feel terrible. And then a couple months into the pregnancy, COVID hits. So all the stores shut down, and then like I was relying on Walmart for my pregnancy wardrobe. Like I couldn't even get cute clothes.
Oh,
And I actually didn't feel bad. Like I actually really enjoyed the way my body shaped, and even though obviously my stomach became huge. I had two children in there, but I actually didn't gain that much weight. I only gained 30 pounds for the whole pregnancy, and then after I had the kids, I was actually 10 pounds lighter than my pre-pregnancy weight.
right. You know, I always hear about I don't know, I've never, because I don't have kids, so I don't know, but from what I hear about, you know, when you get pregnant and stuff like that, you kind of realize so all that your body can do. I don't know if that's true, where, you know, when you, like the weight gain is such a beautiful thing because you're housing a baby, or, you know, or two babies, or however many babies you're housing, and like your body is so capable of so much, and it's so strong, that it kind of changes your perception. Because I know that I feel like a lot of us look at it as, you know, it has to look this way, but it's also, you know, our body has to function a certain way. And I don't know, from what I understand, from what I've heard, when you get pregnant and you carry a baby, it really sort of teaches you how much your body can do and how irrelevant the weight gain portion is. I mean, was that still in the back of your mind? Because I'm always like, when for my pregnant friends, anyone that ever worries about their weight, I'm like, look, forget that. You're carrying a baby. You got to focus on nurturing that baby. Because I had a friend who got pregnant. It was years ago, but she'd gone through a huge weight loss journey herself. So she was purposely not eating because she was afraid that she was going to get bigger. And to me, I don't know. I judge that for sure, because it's, to me, I'm like, who gives a shit what your body looks like right now? You got to like feed those babies. Like, who cares if you gain the weight? It doesn't matter. And I don't know. It kind of makes me angry. I feel like it makes me so mad that people kind of expect, if you're pregnant, that you have to look this way, or after you give birth to the babies, you have to lose the weight in this amount of time. But it's like, that's disgusting. You just gave birth to life. Who gives a shit? You know, like, it's your body did that. Your body produced babies. It's amazing. So it's crazy how much your body, how body image follows everybody, even into giving birth and actually creating a freaking miracle at the back of people's minds. It's, oh my gosh, what about your body? Like, who cares?
See, and I think that goes back to weight loss and body image in the industry, because what happens is you see all these women that like give birth, and these actors and these actresses that give birth, and then a month later they're walking to Starbucks like nothing happened, like their stomach's completely flat again, and you're like, what the hell? Didn't Don't you have like an infant at home? How?
But also, like, those girls that, you know, and everyone's always goes, you know, oh, well, she bounced back to her pre-baby body, but they're probably wearing Spanx because they know people are going to judge them. You know, it's like everyone, you know, they're just people. They gave birth, because I feel like it's a huge thing where there was this other actress, Zoe Kazan, who was talking about how she gave birth to her baby, and 2 weeks later she had a fitting, and they expected her to be back to her the size she was before she had the baby, you know. But
Yeah.
I don't know, and I feel like, yeah, so like the media kind of perpetuates it. I don't know that it's celebrities that necessarily do it, because at the end of the day, they're just people with jobs that
Yeah.
are
I
trying to
mean,
jobs.
I mean that in the terms of, once again, the industry, not
Yeah,
the celebrities themselves, but you see them bounce back so quick, so then you think you need to do that, and then
right.
it all circles back to they did it because they felt they had to do it, because if they didn't bounce back, then they weren't going to get jobs, and it kind of circles.
Oh yeah, it's this crazy cycle. But and really, it's all smoke and mirrors. You know, they're wearing two pairs of Spanx, and that's kind of what it is. Because
Or they just got lucky. Like I think I just got lucky. Like I'm 10 pounds lighter than my pre-pregnancy weight, and I think that attributes most to the fact that for the first 4 months of my pregnancy I threw up everything I ate because my twins were buttholes.
no. See, and that's the thing. I feel like it's really hard for me to sort of wrap my mind around what lucky is when it comes to a body size, because I just don't know. I feel like at the end of the day, it's like the goal is still to lose or to be smaller, and I'm trying to deconstruct that myself, because I don't know. I don't like it. I don't
Yeah.
I people are so proud of, like, oh well, I had a baby and now I'm this size or that size, and this is so cool, but it's like, But I mean, does it really matter because you gave birth and you didn't die and everything is fine and your babies are healthy and everything's I know everyone's healthy. There's always like everyone's trying to get to this specific size, but I just don't know. And I don't know if it's just cuz I'm not really at this point in my life where I really care about my body. And so maybe I just am so nonchalant because that's sort of a privilege that I have. But when I hear other people talk about wanting to be a certain size post baby, I don't get it. I don't get why it matters.
Yeah, I mean, it is in your mind. I would be lying if I said it didn't cross my mind.
Yeah.
But it wasn't something I obsessed over. Like I knew when it was time and I got the clearance. And for me, it's more of just a happiness thing. Like I just want to get back to where I'm comfortable,
Ooh.
where the clothes that I like to wear fit and look good. You know, once again, how you dress the body.
It's so
Because
important. Seriously.
the clothes that I have to dress this current body with, I'm not really fond of. So I
Hmm.
want to get back to like where I can dress the way that I like to dress and I feel like it looks good and I'm comfortable with myself. I'm not trying to get down to a certain pant size, a certain weight. Like it's more just once I'm back in the clothes that I'm comfortable in, I know I'm good.
I love that. See, and I think that sort of shows and now that I've been so exposed to this movement of body positivity, I think I also kind of need to recalibrate myself because now I'm so far end of the other spectrum where I'm like, who cares? Like, doesn't matter what your body size is, blah, blah, blah. But it's like, but you can't shame women for wanting to look a certain way or wanting to lose weight. And so that's something that I kind of have to sort of figure out myself too, where it's like, before I was so big on, oh, well, you have to be this size, you have to be that size. I need to do this, I need to do that. And now that I've discovered this cool revolution where, everyone's being celebrated or we're trying to push for that, I'm kind of like, burn down the gyms. It's just like, it's too much, but it's like, it's okay. If a woman wants to lose weight, that is fine. She can be celebrated for that. It doesn't matter.
Yeah, and that's part of the movement too in itself is just any size.
Mhm.
And if you don't feel comfortable, then do what you need to do to make yourself comfortable, but do it healthily.
Heck yeah.
Don't obsess with it. Don't try and take any magic pills. You know, do what you think is best. And if you're following vegetarian or vegan or you want to try keto or whatever way suits you, then do you, boo boo. But
Exactly. Yeah, exactly. Do you, but do you healthy, please.
yeah, just don't obsess and don't starve yourself. Don't overeat because you think you need to be thicker. Like,
No. Yeah,
don't
exactly.
go to the extremes.
Exactly.
But so, yeah, I was just thinking about that in the industry, how it's like we were saying, it's circles. And what do you think is a way that we could try to combat that? We have this movement. So, do we need like more female directors? Do we need people to start well, in in Nova's perfect world, how would you change the industry to be more accepting of the bodies?
Yeah. Okay. First off, I love that you almost called me JJ, my old nickname. I forgot all about that. That made me kind of happy.
You're still JJ in my phone, and then I
I
was like,
love it.
wait, I'm going by her stage name. Be professional.
Yes, but I love that. I was like, oh, JJ, that was who I was. So cool. Um, and that's a tough thing because I would say I don't know that. I mean, obviously, we need more women in the industry, like regardless of body size. That we need more of that for sure. But there are also women who do perpetuate that stereotype as well. I think really it's just more representation, more just higher. I think we just need more actors of different sizes so that we can normalize it. Because the thing is when people watch TV, they think that that's what normal is. So if they only see people of a specific size or specific ethnicity or specific class, they think, oh, that's what I'm supposed to be. So I think if we just keep showcasing different types of bodies, then people are going to be more accepting of that. And then, because what I've noticed is it's like there's a big thing with like, like with diversity, for example, where people are so used to diversity that if they don't see it, they call it out and they're like, wait a minute, hold on. So I think it's the same with bodies, where if you keep casting different bodies, people are going to watch it. And one day, if you have a cast where everyone's just a size 2 and they're 5'10", people are going to go, this is kind of weird. This isn't realistic. This is not what I'm used to. Absolutely not. We need, and it's that, and that kind of that's going to let the industry know, okay, we need to make sure that we're catering to different body sizes. So I think it's going to take some time, but if you just hire people of different body sizes, I mean, stop trying to create this image of what beauty is and just let the actors do their jobs, and people will see it and they'll know that is what normal is. The way that my world is and the way that the TV is are finally syncing up, because right now they're not. They look very, very different from what I see on TV and what I see in the real world. Vastly different. I feel like the TV is trying to create this sort of weird,
It's a
creepy
fantasy world.
yeah, of like what they want people to look like. And so then I look at people in my everyday life and I'm like, wait a minute. Not everybody looks like Chris Evans. Come on, hold on, wait.
Where's
And
her pimples and her mom bun?
exactly. I mean, that's the thing. Yeah. So if we could just like showcase women, and like please start showing women with stretch marks, because I have them, and the fact that I don't see women with stretch marks on TV makes me feel horrible, but I know it's normal and we don't see it enough. And so we just need more of that. Just keep exposing people to what people actually look like, different varieties of people. I mean, yes, of course, keep the size 2 actress. It doesn't, of course, but add more to that. Don't just show that. So I think it really starts with the casting of the actors. I think that's really an important thing. And then, maybe from there expand. But yeah, of course we definitely need more women in film no matter what.
So just take charge and don't freak out about your size. Just go to that audition and tell them that you're the best. And look at this talent. You don't want to lose out on this talent just because I'm not a size 2.
No, there are a lot of wonderful actors that aren't a size 2 and they're flawless. I mean, yeah, exactly.
I mean, it makes you wonder how much talent like just got set aside because they couldn't maintain a certain body shape.
But have you been noticing that though? Because I feel like that's definitely a thing. Sometimes I'll watch television and everybody in it is just a pretty model, but the acting is so bad, and it's just I don't. It's sad.
There's a few movies where I'm like, what is? I mean, even for a B film, like really?
Yeah, exactly. Really, like you couldn't do better than this. There's so many people that want to be actors that are so good, and so it's sad when they just sort of chalk it up to that. And I remember I went to a workshop where this manager was telling us, oh, if you are genetically blessed, you are going to make it in this industry. It's going to be so much easier for you. So that means, having the body of a model and having the face of a model. And that's sad because talent is never mentioned.
Yeah, talent should be first, and then genetically blessed at the bottom of the list.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. Because if we're only showing genetically blessed people on TV, that does something to our brains as viewers.
Oh yeah, I mean, we're talking about all this stuff from when we met. You got to think, how old were we in 6th grade? 11.
11, yeah.
Like, so at 11, I already think there's something wrong with my body. Like I haven't even got my period yet.
Exactly. Yeah, and isn't that crazy? I remember I had a friend that did that too, where she was really into looking at magazines and looking at models. But I was such a late bloomer of a kid. Like I didn't even think about that. And I remember she was pointing out like, "Oh, this girl's so skinny and I want to look like her." And I remember I was like, we're 12. This is weird." But it's contagious because then I started thinking that too. So I mean, I feel like we're also perpetuating it in a way. It's ingrained in our lives, so it's kind of hard to trace where it starts.
Yeah.
Like, is
And
it our parents? Is it us? Is it the media? Is it TV? I don't know. It's like the chicken. Did the chicken come first? Did the egg come first? It's kind of a big debate.
it's a combination, I think.
Yeah.
Realistically, we all have our insecurities, and then you try not to pass that down to your kids, but they'll see you in the mirror change your outfit twice. And so then they'll kind of start to wonder, well, maybe I need to change my outfit, and then they'll see the girl on the TV who's really in shape. So it's a multi-factor scenario, but
Mm-hmm.
it's definitely something that needs to be addressed because healthy image just needs to be put out there more, and not just body. I mean, it's great we know male viewers like to look at the skinny girl with the big boobs and the big butts. And if there are certain, shows and films for that, then that's fine too. Like, if that's the audience you're trying to hit, then cast for that. But
Yeah, I mean, it's not like women aren't guilty of it.
I mean, I am, I'll sit there and admire at a body shape, like, oh, she looks great.
Yeah, or even like, a guy, like I think women will sort of, and I know that there's a lot of thing amongst men where there's a lot of insecurity there because women are putting guys with abs and chiseled bodies on a pedestal, and not all guys look like that.
Give me the dad bod, I'll take it. I think the dad bod is coming in though. I've heard a lot about it lately. I'm like, no, cast somebody with the dad bod
I like how
and
they call them dad
let's
bods.
let's go let's go to town.
I just like charming people. I mean, at the end of the day, if you're a charming character, you've won me over, you know? Look, a stereotypically pretty face or pretty body, it can only hold you over for so long because that's what it is. Like we go in for the storyline too. And if you carve out a great character, we will fall in love with them. But yeah, I love that. I love that they say, I mean, I hate that we're calling it the dad bod. Like, why can't it just be a good bod? Why do we have to call it the dad bod? Like, why can't it just be a body? But yeah,
I think it's just got a good ring to
the
it.
dad bod.
Everything's got to have a hashtag now.
Yeah.
We got to be able to print this on something, so we got to have a term. um so lastly, we just got to find out, what does Nova do to stay in shape? Like, I know you said you're very into body positivity now and not giving a hoot, but at the same time you also go to your auditions and you do kind of give a hoot. So
I
when you
do.
do when you do care, what do you do?
So, okay. I mean, before quarantine, I will admit, I mean, I'm like, I know I'm saying burn down the gym, but I'm crazy because I go to the gym. I'm out there defending women. Like, that's my thing. I don't know. But what I do, I mean, normally I work out about 3 times a week. Before quarantine, I would do that. Now I kind of just work out at home once a week, and I try to balance things out. Really, I think at the end of the day, I nutrition is sort of the biggest thing for me. So I just try to eat as well as I can, but I have to have a dessert every single day. I don't skip out on having at least one dose of something sugary and delicious because if I don't, I will go insane. But I do think it's sort of a balance of like I manage my carb intake the most. So, like, let's say if I've had a rice dish for lunch, then I probably won't do a pasta for dinner. I'll kind of put in more greens and think about upping my protein intake. So everything I do sort of lies in the health thing. It's just really, I just sort of try to make sure I balance it out. I only drink water. I don't drink sodas very often. I kind of drink it like wine, so it has to be a celebratory thing. But yeah, I work out 3 days a week, but I'm not a hardcore person when it comes to the gym because I'm very easy on myself. So if I go on the elliptical for a half an hour and that's all I do, it's better than me not doing anything and that's enough for me. So I'm very easy on myself. I'm not a competitive gym person. I just work out so I can listen to music and zone out the rest of the world because day-to-day life is super stressful and the gym is really the only time I have to myself. So it's easy for me to keep up with it because that's kind of my mentality is I'm really sort of just it's the best time I'll ever have because it's just me, music, and whatever machine I'm working on. But I don't like to do all the weightlifting and all the crazy stuff because then I can't listen to my music and I'm not going to have any fun.
I kind of do it the same way. I want to start getting into a little more of the weightlifting and especially working on my abdominals, because there's like a mommy pooch that you develop after birth because your uterus is shrinking. So I gotta tighten this all back up because your abs literally separate as your belly grows.
Oh, I heard, and I heard you have to wait for them to kind of come back together before you can work out, or it stays separated.
Yeah, so I got the approval from my doctor actually yesterday to start
Ooh,
working out again. She said it's pretty much just how you feel. If you start to do a workout and it doesn't feel good, stop and wait another week or so and then see how it goes. Just listen to your body. But if
oh,
you're
interesting.
doing it and you're feeling okay, then keep on doing it. Just keep in mind that whatever weight, whatever standard of fitness you were at before pregnancy, you're probably a couple degrees lower because you haven't worked out in almost a year. So,
Oh yeah, I never thought about that.
because with a twin pregnancy, it's high risk. So I couldn't
Hmm.
lift a certain past a certain amount. I was not on bed rest, but I wasn't, I couldn't really lift much. I definitely couldn't work out. I had to,
Right.
I had an appointment every 2 weeks, like throughout the entire pregnancy. So it's just something that, for me, like I said, just developing a comfort. But I do miss the gym for that fact, is just being able to pop on the headphones and just having that minute to yourself. And I feel like, especially with kids now, that's going to be even more of a thing that I enjoy, just
Yeah.
having like hour at the gym.
When
Just
things open back up, that's gonna be your sanctuary. That's kind of what it was for me, because my work was so crazy. Being at the gym was my time, and it's just, and that was just enough for me. I wasn't there to get competitive, and also it's like, I used to get too competitive, where I had to hit a certain goal, or I felt bad about myself, and because I did that, I would stop going to the gym. It was always just a very much a fad thing that I did. The reason why I've been working out for almost 4 years straight now, because I don't set crazy goals for myself. I'm proud no matter what I do. If I get up and I do 20 minutes, it's better than doing zero.
Yeah, it's better than sitting. If you're walking around, you're not sitting on the couch.
Exactly. Like if you go take a walk, if you walk to the mailbox instead of driving to the mailbox, great. That was something. Like it's just, something is better than nothing. So you got to celebrate all of that and just not get too crazy about it, because that's how you keep that consistency. Unless you're a competitive person and you love the challenge. I guess I'm just not that person. The easier the better for me. I mean, I'm tempted to get into weightlifting, because I heard that you can get into shape a lot faster. So I'm like, okay, that's the easier way to do things. I'm in. I'm that person.
Yeah,
I like to do it very low maintenance. I don't like to work out to a point where it's high maintenance and I have to do all this stuff to keep up with it. If I can do the least amount of stuff and have maintain my body, I am a happy camper. So if that means just eating a little bit better every now and then, I'm going to do that. If that means, going to the gym and working out a bit, but keeping it balanced with what I eat, great. Then I'll do that too. And I'll still have a chocolate bar at the end of the day.
that's kind of how I am too. I'm not super competitive, but balance out. Like if I can't, since we can't go to the gym right now because everything's closed, I just have to focus a lot more on diet. And
Yeah.
that's what I've been doing like the last 6 weeks, is since I couldn't work out because I wasn't allowed to, I was like, okay, well, let me just eat really healthy. Because
Exactly.
during pregnancy, obviously, like I ate decent because I had to get certain nutrition to the kids, but I was also like, hey, I'm pregnant. I'm going to have.
You're like, the
Then I had to
twins,
get
they want a
out of
burger
that
with marshmallows
mentality.
in it. They're going to have it.
So then I had to get back out of that mentality. You're like, okay, bitch, you're not pregnant no more. You got to kind
So
of
you
watch
can't
what you
blame the
eat.
twins. You can't be like, they want this. No, you do.
And they're not taking the calories. It's all going to me now. But it's been an experience, and it's been, you know, something where I've never felt more in tune with my body and more comfortable with my body than I do now, which is actually weird for me because I have a crazy amount of stretch marks because obviously with twins my stomach got expanded to its like full capacity.
Right.
But put on some high waisted and I'm good. Like whatever. They're my tiger stripes for my battle wounds from birth, but I've never felt more comfortable with myself and more. This is the first time where I've been really, I wouldn't say strict with my diet, but I haven't been letting myself slip too much because of the fact that I couldn't work out and I couldn't
Mm-hmm.
balance it out. So I have been following like a certain diet, just kind of eating the way I used to when I was, pretty in shape. And it's been an opening experience for me, and I felt good, and I haven't felt like I'm overdoing it, and I've actually stuck to it better now than I ever have before. Like I don't feel like I'm missing out on anything. I don't have the cravings. Like I just feel content,
Ooh, I love that.
and it's just kind of eye opening. And use whatever motivation you have. Like
Yeah.
if it's if you're motivated to just feel comfortable, if you're motivated because you want to show your kids how to be healthy, if you're motivated because, hell, the first time I lost weight, it was because I knew I was about to meet my celebrity crush and I wanted to look good.
Yeah.
But you know what? It worked. And I lost like 20 pounds. So
Whoa, that really works.
I was like, you know what? Whatever you have to do to motivate yourself, do it. And I'm not
Exactly.
judging. If Jason Momoa is your inspiration, then honey, I'm with you.
Yeah. Oh man, right? If you watch Wonder Woman and you're like, I want to be that strong and I want to look that badass, you go for it. I remember watching Catwoman. Well, not Catwoman.
Harry?
The not that one. I don't even know why. It's Dark Knight
Oh,
with
Anne
Anne
Hathaway.
Hathaway, and she was just such a badass
And she
that
looked
I
damn
remember
good in that
thinking like,
suit.
yeah, and I was like, damn, I want to work out and look like that, and I want to learn how to freaking fight like her too. Like I just remember thinking like, I want to do that. I want to look that cool. That's awesome.
We need to sign up for some UFC classes.
Seriously, she made me want to do all that because she just looked so freaking cool.
See, this is what I love. I love conversations like this where you can just bounce ideas off, and even when people disagree, I think a great part of society is just being able to bounce ideas, even if you disagree with each other. Like
Exactly.
we all think different ways, but there's usually a common middle ground, and I think with weight loss, the middle ground is healthy.
Mm-hmm.
And so I would love to have you on for another episode in the future, maybe after things open back up and you're back in the industry, and you can tell me when everyone's coming back with their quarantine bods, maybe things change.
I would love to. Yeah, once we've recovered, things in the industry are shaky.
Yeah, I would imagine this is like not a cool time to try and find auditions because everything's closed and it's kind of hard to do a kissing scene in a face mask.
Oh yeah, for sure. And I'm currently seeking out new reps, so it's sort of not the time to do that because a lot of agencies are shutting down or they're downsizing. These are pretty crazy times where everything's really uncertain, as we know, because everyone's saying it's uncertain and it's crazy, and it is.
But you know what? I see a light at the end of the tunnel. No matter what anyone says, this is just a phase. This will go in the history books for sure, but it's just a phase. It'll be over. Even if we gotta wear the damn mask, I'm cool with it. Just
Please wear your mask so that we can be done with this.
I'm just not wearing that shit in my car because it's too hot. Sorry. But
I have
around other people, then sure.
Exactly. Well, I'm a huge man. I have so many masks. It's pretty crazy. I have a giant bag full of them.
I need to get more. I have like 2, and I've realized because at first I wasn't sure, like, because they kept changing their minds on it. Like CDC was like, yes, wear a mask. Wait, don't wear a mask. Wait, yes, just kidding, wear it again. So I was like, I only bought a couple because I was like, okay, is this a thing or is this not? I don't want to waste the money.
I'm a bit of a follower where I remember when quarantine first happened and I saw people wearing masks. I was like, oh my God, I can't be that person not wearing a mask. I need to wear a mask. So I've sort of been doing it ever since. Obviously, I don't want to get sick or get my family sick, but also it's like, I just don't want to be that person that isn't doing it because I don't want someone to say anything. So that's like
people like that too that are videotaping, like, where's your mask?
Yeah, like I don't want to be that guy. I'm very much a follower. So like if everyone's wearing the mask, so am I. And so I've been doing it very diligently. And
I'm cool with it. I'm cool with it now. At first I was just because I'm just cheap and I was just like, okay, I'm gonna waste the money on this. Like, is this for real? Is this happening for a while? Do I need to get more? So I was like kind of waiting to see, like, play it out. But now that it seems like even if the virus goes, well, it's not going away anytime soon, but like the mask wearing is going to be happening for a minute. So I'm like, okay, I'll buy a couple.
Right. I didn't think it was either. I was kind of like, maybe this will all blow over very quickly and we'll be fine and we'll find a vaccine and things will be good. And yeah, so I was sort of in denial about that too, about how many masks and stuff I needed. And yeah.
Me being cheap. I was like, do I need to buy this or wait? But I just want to thank you for coming on. This has been awesome. And I love this conversation because it is so in tune with both of our lives right now, between industry and obviously doing the podcast and the Instagrams and stuff. Social media has become kind of an entertainment industry in itself.
Mm-hmm.
So, influencers actually make a lot of money. I know, like, the Dolan twins on YouTube now have like their own $1 million mansion. And I'm like, what? I remember when these kids were like 15. So, I mean, it's an industry in itself now. So these conversations mean a lot to me, and I like the bouncing of ideas, and I love you.
I love you too. This was really fun. Definitely kind of daunting, and it's hard to sort of get out what you're thinking. Like even now I'm kind of stuttering about because I don't know what to say. So it's been an interesting conversation because there's so much to be said, and it's a very nice, this is teaching us all how to communicate basically.
Yeah, it's something. I remember the first time I recorded an episode, I was falling all over myself, and
That's literally me right now. You're killing it. You're very good at it. So I'll give you that. I'm the one that's sort of like,
this is just practice for when you're famous and doing interviews
Oh
and you
goodness.
can't stutter, and you just gotta make up an answer on the go.
I love podcasts too. I'm always listening to them and thinking, I want to be on a podcast. I want to do that. And now that I'm on it, I'm like, oh, this is so hard.
Well, I appreciate you coming, and I hope you have a great rest of your day. I want to thank all the listeners for listening, and check out all the Instagrams. Do you have a page or anything people can check you out at?
Follow me on Instagram, NovaJones07.
There you go. And thank you so much for coming. Love you, love you.
Love you too.
All right, everyone, be safe out there. Bye. Hey guys, I just want to let you guys know that I appreciate every single listen. You guys are totally awesome. And make sure to check out my YouTube. It's Presley Christine Fit. And the Instagram, it's Presley Christine. And of course, the podcast has an Instagram. It's going to be Fit Trends with Presley Christine. And we even have a Facebook page. So make sure to like, share, tell your friends. And we love your support. Love you guys so much. Thank you.